Hello, everybody. How you doing today? I hope you're having an amazing day. And we are going to be looking at we're in week 2 of your Stimulate Your Business. And we are going to be talking about the Flying Star today. And we are talking about the annual energies. And there's a big distinction, in my opinion, between your short-term feng shui, which is the annual energies, and your long-term feng shui. And this program really is focusing on that short term because we're trying to get some quick action into your business today. Hi, my name is Kathleen Zemansky. I'm a business feng shui master, astrologer, and a favorable timing expert. And I have a wonderful piece of software that I'm going to introduce to you today called the TimeBlazr. We're going to do that towards the end, and it's just getting ready for what we're going to be doing all of next week, but we're starting it tomorrow because the day is so positive. I really want you to get the best benefit. Now, this is a program that is time sensitive, so please do not hit that save for later. You can save for later to watch and catch up on the information, but this is actually a collaboration or a partnership between you and me. And what I'm going to do is I really want to help you get some business at this point, within the next like 9 days, if you will. So the program is going to finish up next Friday, but what we've covered so far is the astrology. That was last week, and you can just go to our playlist on YouTube that says Stimulate Your Business, and you can find everything you need to know about the astrology that we can do in the time that we're spending with each other. This week is about feng shui, and today I'm going to talk about flying stars. So this is one added piece that I think could give you some benefit, because since it's such a challenging year, this metal ox, and it started with the great, you know, craziness that was happening in 2020, and we have a ways to go. We still have all the way through this year. I am certain we are now officially into that third wave here of lockdown. In some states, I'm using lockdown as a loose term right now because state by state there are different things going on, but I know in some parts of the world, and you may be experiencing this yourself depending on where you're listening in from, you're already in your 4th lockdown. So, we do know that there is a bumpy road ahead. And here is my promise to you. I will give you all that I can in this free program that we are doing here for these 3 weeks. And we're covering person, space, and time. Person is the astrology, space is the feng shui and flying star, and then the time is going to be with the TimeBlazr. And I'm trying to give you every tool possible to help you. But you also need to do your part. What I mean by that is you need to actually roll up your sleeves a little bit, and you need to also do the marketing and the business plan. You have to have a small program. Maybe you're going to be doing some discovery sessions or opening up 10 slots for coaching calls. And I'm going to give you some specific days and times, and we're going to be doing this in real time. So I'll explain a little bit more about the TimeBlazr. I'm going to show you the software that I'm going to give you a 30-day free trial with that. So don't worry about that right now. Let's focus on jumping into the flying star. So let's see. Let's get our presentation up here, and let's see if I can get me on the side. Okay, here we go. So we are on day 9. So like I said, we have another approximate 9 days left in this free program for you. And it is about stimulating your business. And we are talking about the annual flying star. And so before we get too much into this program, excuse me, is that I just wanted to give a shout out to Elizabeth. Thanks so much for the love that you're sending. And here was a question that I think that is important to answer. So Antoine from Amsterdam wrote, and I'm not sure if Antoine. It looks like Antoine and Antoinette. Oh, so these are 2 different people. Okay, but there was a very similar question that both of these people have expressed to me and said, "Hello, Kathleen. How about using mirrors in the house? I have them everywhere, east, west, in the toilet, opposite each other, and in the bathroom. Love your program." Well, thank you for tuning in, Antoine. So mirrors are a very interesting topic, if you will, in the respect there are schools of thought that will say that a mirror is a water element. And you know, the thing about the five elements and water being one of them, people have the misconception that mirrors will and we talked about this a little bit in the last few days about missing corners, and you know, is there some way that you can, you know, make that space whole by doing things. And one of the misconceptions is you can put a mirror and that will pop out and make your space this, what I had called yesterday, the 4-point cold. No, it does not. A mirror will not have that effect where we will see, you know, certain you know, people will say that, you know, I have this missing corner, and then that will make, you know, that will make the space complete. The only way it can make the space complete is architecturally. It has to be built in. So that would be one application that I'm going to debunk and throw out the window. Number two, we have heard about the infamous Bagua mirrors, and Bagua, there's, you know, in the Western, I'm going to say in the Western countries, when Feng Shui came over to the Western countries, something happened, and I don't know what. I don't know if they just felt that you know, we couldn't read a compass or whatever, but all of the great formulas kind of went away. So really, Bagua means 8 sectors. So there's a school within classical Feng Shui that is called, which is called 8 Mansion. And then when we talk about form school, which is like another misconception that came over to the Western world, is that we had this Bagua map. And I'm not going to get too much into that. That could be maybe a separate video, but just suffice to say, what we are practicing here with you and me is that you are going to need your digital compass that you can get on your phone. We talked about that yesterday, as well as you need an accurate floor plan. And so this is not a cookie cutter program. It is designed and programmed specifically for you, where you're using your astrology to find out what is in your chart, what's even possible for you. That was all in week 1. And then this week was all about personalizing your space, of like setting up important areas of your office or your sleeping area. You know, most people, like I said, are in lockdown and maybe have never even gotten out of lockdown. But you know, the home office, remote working, I do believe is here to stay. There might be some hybrids of this. We'll have a question later on today where I'll answer that as well. But just know that the mere discussion of and the Bagua thing is, you know, there's some convolution that is happening that when it came over to the United States. Is that even a word? Convolution? Convoluted? Whatever. I don't know if convolution is a word. Sometimes I make up a word here and there, or I think I'm saying the right word. All right, but getting back to mirrors everywhere. So a mirror, I think, aesthetically can pop open a space. Now, if they're exactly opposite each other, you're going to get that telescope effect of just a mirror reflecting back and forth, and that just, it's kind of a weird kind of look, if you will. But I don't believe that mirrors have much of a feng shui application. Just as I don't believe colors. I can't tell you how many times in the course of my career of 20 plus years that people have called me to help them choose colors. You actually need to be calling an interior designer, not a feng shui master, because a feng shui master, a classically trained one like myself, we are going to be capturing the energy, and we went into that deeply at the beginning of this week when we were talking about when we were talking about the landform, and that's where the energy comes, and then from water. Those are the two energy receptors that you are going to get. And then how does that specifically show up in your space? So hopefully that answers the mirror question. If you like mirrors and they make you happy, put them into your space, and that's really all you're going to need to think about. Is it's more an aesthetic than it is a feng shui application. And, I think there was, a good example that was given to me, a while back, which was, an element, the best way to adjust a space, if we're thinking that a mirror is water, is what I'm trying to say here. Like if you are, let's say you're very cold and you have a picture. We've even seen these around the holidays where they have the Yule log, and you can just hear the crackling, and it's you see it on your TV or your screen or your phone, and you want that sense of fire, if you will. So fire is one of the five elements. But if you're really cold, which is going to actually get you to warm your body up? A real fire, furnace, whatever, a heating element of some sort, or that picture of the Yule log. The Yule log is just an aesthetic adjustment. So hopefully that will answer that as well. And then Antoinette, I don't know if this is the same person or not, just by the two different names. I'm thinking no, but anyway, you inspire me a lot because of your mindset to thinking ahead what I really need to do. So I'm here to help you do that, Antoinette. And thanks so much. And hopefully we'll see each other tonight because she's calling in um, I believe the Netherlands as well. Okay, let's move on. All right, here is our flying star, and I'm going to look at this in a couple of different ways for you. I'm going to look at it we're just going to talk about it in this particular aspect of having the grid, and then we're going to move on to the dial. But I think it's just easier, and then I'll put it onto a floor plan. But for right now, what I want to do is I want to talk to you just in the grid form. And I am going to just remind you, remember, and we're going to just start in the southeast, southeast, and then we're going to go kind of in just this um, clockwise direct, or maybe I'll go by rows. That's what I'll do. But I just want to pop out to you right from the get-go our favorite areas in the flying star. In the flying star system, maybe I should do just a little explanation of that before we move on. Every year, again, around February 3rd or 4th, and this year in 2021, it was February 3rd, very late in the day, but it was the 3rd that the Chinese New Year came into play. Now, please do not misconstrue the feng shui calculation that we are doing, the solar calendar, with the lunar 2-week festival that happens every year. We are looking at the feng shui attributes, and there is a time when just literally by a minute we can go from one energetic to the next. And this year it was February the 3rd, very late in the day. Anyway, with that said, the thing that we're trying to distinguish is that when the flying star has a certain position, and truthfully, the flying star is changing constantly, if you will. So it changes on an annual basis, it changes on a monthly basis, it changes on a daily basis, and you can even go right down to the hour where you can really get very precise about when you would want to trigger some energy. So this flying star pattern changes every single year. And like the feng shui, your astrology, the attributes of the animals or the challenges of the animals, we have approximately 5.5 months before that energy switches over to the year of the water tiger. And again, the reason that I'm giving you this mid-year is if you've got some good stuff happening in your chart or in the feng shui of your space, I want you to maximize as much as you can your efforts so that you can get the best of the year. That's how you're going to win this challenging time. You've got to tap into the best energies. Conversely, if you have some animals that might be a little bit challenging, and I indicated a couple of animals that are very positive this year, go back and listen to the astrology pieces that are very positive this year, but next year they're going to switch and they're not going to be as positive. So this again is another let's get on, really trying to achieve your goals this year. Now, there's also going to be animals that are, they were just kind of, or they were just downright challenging in 2021, and those too are going to have a different energetics next year. So sometimes it is, what areas of my life am I going to be moving forward really rapidly and just get everything I can get done with it, and which ones are we going to be holding off and maybe doing some R&D and brainstorming and maybe some masterminding or working with a coach to get ready. That means, doesn't mean you stop and do nothing. Really, what it means is do your planning now, and then next year you launch it, and you launch it on a really good day and time. So when you're using this, the yin side of business, your astrology, your feng shui, and the timing, this is where that cosmic trinity, where person, space, and time is really going to be activated for you to make empowering decisions for yourself. I just can't say enough about how much I just love this system. Okay, let's go back to looking at the chart here. And like I said, we're going to be starting with the southeast sector. Now, the southeast sector, and we're going to be on this slide for just a little bit, so you may want to take out some of your notepads here to take a little bit of a take some notes on this. So the southeast, where we had also, the three killings, and we already know that it's sort of doubling up to be pretty nasty, if you will. So we don't want to activate the southeast sector. We want to keep it as quiet as possible. And what I mean by quiet as possible is don't use it. If you're going to have to use it for a spare bedroom, or that is used rarely, or use it as, you could even, at this point, I wouldn't make any major moves at this point. Whatever it is there for the year. But I would say let's just try to keep it as quiet as possible. And I realize some of you are finding out this information for the first time ever. And then this is going to be, okay, then we have to just deal with it. And yesterday I talked about putting metal in there to help mitigate that. So basically what I want you to understand is that you don't want to renovate, you don't want to dig a hole, you don't even want to, hang any artwork there. Why? Because the 5 yellow can cause problems, extreme bad fortune. It can hit your health, relationships, and really a great loss of money. So you do want to watch about the 5 yellows. So this is an area I go over it a little bit deeper at my annual event, but just suffice, we want to keep it as quiet as possible. Now let's go on to the south sector. I'm loving the south sector because this is where, if you use this particular energetics, you're going to be bringing in mentors, coaches, helpful people. This is a great area. Like if you're trying to figure something out for brainstorming and innovation, go and put your body in the south. It's going to be very, very good for that. And then, this is an area. This is an area, by the way, that if you have a door or a window, you want to use it. This is a very, very, very strong positive. And here's another like massive feng shui tip. It's not about hanging a bunch of trinkets and doing just really just like adding things that really have no energetic value is what I'm going to say. Now, if you like that kind of stuff, go ahead and do it, but I'm not prescribing that you need to go out and buy anything with the exception of some metal. And you can actually, and this is what I talked about it at my annual event, because at my annual event in January, there was really a very big shortage because of the lockdowns. People are turning spare bedrooms into gym, their own home gyms and things like that. So it was very hard to find weights. And I was saying, you know what, find some metal into but you'd have to like take it and leave it there. So you know big serving trays or pots and pans, something that you're going to leave there. I know it may not look as beautiful as you would like it to, but if we need to take some steps and put metal in a certain area, that's what you do. In the positive areas, you use them. So a negative or challenging energy, we keep yin, which is quiet, no renovations. In a positive area, this is where I want you to clean up. So let's say, for someone who is not too orderly or has too much stuff, take those areas that I'm saying that are the positive ones. Those are the areas you'll clean up, and next year you're going to clean up another. And in a couple years time, you'll have your whole house in order, and it will elevate the feng shui of your space. Okay, so the south is one of those sectors. If you have a door or a window, let the energy from the outside, that's where the energy is initiated, and we want to bring it in. So this is where you can help yourself by using the south sector. Okay, all right. So like I said, it's very good for mentors. So let's go on to the southwest. Now the southwest sector, yes, has arguments there, but this very contentious, like disputes and things like that, if it gets activated. And remember, the southwest also has the year breaker where the goat is at. That's in that southwest one, and we'll show you when it comes to the feng shui dial. It'll be easier. I just want to give you some groundwork right now. But this is something that you really need to watch your communication, whether it be verbal or nonverbal. Sometimes your actions speak as loud or louder than your words. So do be careful with your arguments and communication here. But you can also have some very good breakthroughs here, because remember, we also have in the southwest sector, we do have the dragon virtue, which was in that monkey direction. Again, I'll show you that on the dial and remind you of this, because I think it's important for you to understand that some of these areas in certain degrees of the compass dial, or within any given sector, this is where it can start having some dual energy. So you just need to be, when you're looking at the energy, just be in the more positive areas. But it is a great year if you need to reboot or, like really get some things started. Yes, it can be challenging, but sometimes when you need to reboot, you need to reboot. All right, let's go to the East sector. Loving the East sector. Like I said, I have my sort of main office in that area because it has not only this, there's another system that I talk about at my annual event. But for this free, little mini course here that I'm doing, I'm just going to talk about the creativity. This is very, very, very good for a couple of things. It's very good for looking at, just increasing your creative influence. If you want to learn a new skill, or try it like a new side gig or something like that. That's kind of a new buzzword out there, is these side gigs. Because why are side gigs so important? Well, one of the reasons is the uncertainty of what's happening. No, everyone is kind of experiencing that, and there are some sectors that are just crushing it. They're just crushing it. If you've got an online business and we're selling the right products and you were ready for the shutdown, you were doing well. If you had to get up and kind of get it going, you're already a little bit behind the game, but there's no reason why you can't start a side gig like an online business. And I highly recommend it because of the direction we're going astrologically is highly, highly, highly going to be in that tech sector or anything that's online. So it is a smart idea. If you haven't started, it's not too late. So if you've been thinking about it, use that East sector, and that's going to help give you some good ideas and getting it in up and running in a sound way. This could be something that we're talking about even in the Stimulate Your Business program, that you might say, all right, I'm going to start a little store. Start with one or two products and see what you can get from it. I think it's a fabulous idea to be doing this. Okay. All right. And then, anyway, so this is something that I would say, if you're an author or an artist, this will help bring creativity. And I truly believe creativity is very much connected to prosperity. I think when we get a little bit stuck in our ways, it can start impeding on our, financial bottom line. So this is where I think it could help you. Now, the center is where we have leadership. And so this is a very good sector, even if you are, looking just to do, again, some brainstorming, make some important calls with important clientele, taking on that leadership role. And again, you could do this within the center of your building, or if you are just doing what we call the small Tai Chi of looking at all of these compass dials and doing it over one room, then just be in the middle of the room. And most likely, if you only have one room, it might be good for you to be like command central is right in the center of that room, and leave it a little bit open if you can, so that it can absorb some energy and get some good influences energetically from the universe. That would be really smart for you to do as well. All right, so anyway, this will help you. It will also help you, you know, take on, a role of authority, or if you want to be an influencer. This is where you really are going to need to be hanging out if you're going to be using the center palace. Now, the West is about current wealth. Now, we have what we are calling, what we call in the feng shui world, we're in period 8. And that is why a lot of people think that 8s are so auspicious, is because it means money. Money, it means cash flow and things like that. So you see a lot of people will have like 8s in their license plates, or they, using 8s as part of, an activator to get money into their wallets or their bank accounts. Well, one of the best ways you can get money into your bank accounts is using the West sector in 2021. So make sure that, especially when I'm talking about these positives. So far, the South and the East, the center is probably built in. You don't have a garden there, but in the West, some of you might have an atrium type situation where you might have a garden in the middle of your space. But the West is one of the more positive sectors in 2021 because it also has the rooster that resides there. And this is an animal that also has some really great attributes happening for them. So we really like the West. And then this is where you're going to want to, inside and out, do you have this a nice landscaping out there? Hopefully there's no negative energy like a pylon or things that are broken, because that will affect what's outside, is going to affect what's happening on the inside of your space. So again, the West is where we want to bring in this cash flow. Now we are closing down on period 8. We're actually really already into period 9, which is officially in play. In 2024. That's going to be the year of the dragon when that comes through. So it's ticking down, but we're on the cusp of it. So we can already start using that energy, which is great. But what I do want to let you know is that the famous 8, which was all about wealth, 2024, that's all going to shift. So nines are going to be the lucky numbers, is actually what I'm trying to tell you. And there's a lot of things happening for period 9 that I want you to start thinking about as you're stimulating your business. Period 9, as I alluded to before, let me go back to the slide. So it's the 9 is located in the Northeast this year. So first of all, for this in period 8, 9 is going to be about your investments, your assets, and things like that. So that is something that's certainly good. Now this can also be things like your intellectual property. So hopefully you are creating something that will have some significance that will help you along the way. So this is also good for those of you who would like fame and fortune, visibility, because this, a 9 is basically a fire element. So this is about being seen. So for those of you who are thinking about doing a YouTube live streams, or um, Facebook, or any of the social media platforms, writing a blog, becoming an author, something that you want to have people see you as the expert, then spending time in the Northeast is going to be fantastic for you. This is where it will really help you along the way. But going into period 9, I want you to start thinking, who can my target audience be? Number 1, it's going to be women. Women this is where women empowerment is really going to be like really taking on a really strong force, and you're seeing it already. Like I said, we're on the cusp of it. We're going to be seeing entertainment like we have never seen before. We're going to see technology just ever continuing to evolve, and this is a 20-year time frame. So what you think is happening technologically today, put on your seatbelts, because I'll tell you what, we are going to see some really seismic shifts when it comes to technology of what they're doing today and what is going to be happening 20 years from today. So if you are in the tech sector, that would be good. I advise all of you to stay abreast as much as you can in the tech sector. That would be very smart. In the beauty industry is not for women anymore, just for women anymore. I am seeing so many male-centric products that are, I used to get kind of like, why do we have all of these like women magazines and this whole like body image stuff? Well, they're doing it to men now too, which I think is not correct on either side of it, when they're trying to put everybody in this box that we should look and be a certain way. Be yourself. Like, really, just be yourself, and just be the best that you can be at yourself. That's real beauty, in my opinion. But I get it. We are looking at we're looking at anything to do like with anti-aging and all of that kind of stuff. So those are kind of industries, entertainment, tech, the beauty industry. So anything that's going to help, which I would even put in there, like meditation retreats, because I'm telling you what, anytime I have gone away for a week or a couple week long meditation, that was the best anti-aging that I could even think of, because you just relax and get rid of like all the garbage that's going on in your head. Period 9 is all about that. Okay, let's move on to the north. Now, the north is considered mostly a negative number when you see the 2 come up. So this is where the illness star resides. And there are a few animals that really should take caution. Rabbits, horses, rats. I would put pigs and dragons in there as well. Goats even. There's quite a few animals that should take some good care of their health. And if you already have a health situation, don't let it go chronic, because it's going to be so much harder for you to really get better. And so this is, and especially with all the things that we have going on kind of globally, I would very much, very, very much take care of your health. And this is another area where I would recommend putting metal. Again, I'll show you that in just a few moments on the compass dial, where it might be easier to see that. But on the flip side, a 2 can be used for properties. So if you are in this is actually a pretty hot industry right now, especially in the private sector in the United States. Oh my Lord, if you want to move or buy something right now, it is like the time was at the beginning of the year or the end of last year. I do believe we are in a bubble though. So if you missed buying now, you might be able to, sorry to say, pick up a foreclosure or a short sale in a couple years time, because I think it's going to be very hard for people. I mean, I've seen this happen over the course of my life, where you know prices get very, very overinflated, and then when the prices drop, then your property goes underwater, is what we call it here in the United States. I'm not sure how they describe it in other parts of the world, but basically the value of your property is, your mortgage is more than the value that the evaluation of any current time. So personally, I think it is a bubble, and that goes for any other industries like cars, and we're just seeing it in other sectors as well. Home building, like materials, there's a demand to build, but the materials aren't there. So that, the supply and demand thing is actually happening right before our very eyes. So if you don't absolutely need it, this might be, a year that you go a pass. But you know what? If you find a good deal, and you know that you're good in the real estate sector, that's where the North can help you. Again, you do need to take caution if you have certain animals in your chart, because it can really also activate the illness as well. So, but for certain animals, it can be helpful. Now, in the Northwest, we do have legal. And when I say legal, I'm looking at more like legal issues. So do be careful about, being involved in a lawsuit, or if you're on the brink of one. This may not be the best area for you to be spending time in, because it really can. It really can trigger some negative attributes there. But, on the other side of it, working on your communication skills might be a very good use of the dial. So let me just recap here very quickly that before we go on to the other dial, what I am liking about this particular dial is the south, the east, the center palace. Every one of these squares is called a palace. And we are also looking at the west and the northeast. So 1, 4, 6, 8, 9 are my favorite numbers to use this year. So that means if you have anything in those areas, this is great. And so that would be one thing. I'll go over this, just a little bit deeper. If you choose to work a little bit deeper with us, then we'll go over this a little bit very, very, very soon. But let's suffice to say that these are the good areas to use right now. All right, now let's go and just look at it from a compass dial. So it's kind of the same thing that we were talking about. It was just easier to read, so you wouldn't have to put your head upside down while I was talking about this. And then let's look at it on our floor plan here. So, like I said, when we're looking at a floor plan that does not have a complete sector here, then what is this person missing out on? So we already know that the person is missing out on the dragon virtue, which is a shame, but they're also missing out on the year breaker, which is fine. We don't care about that. And they're missing out on arguments. Don't really care about that either. But what they are missing out is a good deal of this 8 that is the wealth for the year. So they are already missing out on cash flow. So that is kind of unfortunate. And then wherever you see drains or toilets, fire elements like a stove or a furnace, where we see stairwells or storage, those all, as I talked about the other day, they're going to either drain, burn up, or pierce, this energy. So this is what we've got going on in this kitchen. Is it looks like it's going over a stove and a drain. So the wealth for 2021, or whatever shows up in the wealth in the west sector while they live in this space, this will always be something that will be affected by it. So when a negative number shows up, it's actually beneficial, if you will, in the respect when it's draining the negative energy, but when the positive there, it also drains or burns up, pierces, like I just said. So we do have to kind of be strategic. And remember what I said before, one of the best ways that you can get around some of these issues is building from ground up. Well, let's face it, a lot of us are in the space that we are right now, and so we have to deal with what we have. There's not much we can do about moving, plumbing and a fire element and all of that in that space. It doesn't make sense. But this would be for the next time you are going to be moving. Think about the impact of where these particular things show up in your space, like sinks and stoves and storage and things like that. Is the space going to help you achieve your goals, or is it going to make your goals harder to achieve, if not ever be able to achieve? Because you're always fighting with the space to help it perform for you. I can't emphasize enough, Feng Shui is there to help you achieve your goals and endeavors in life. All right, so that's why we want to Feng Shui up all the time. Okay, all right. Then, so then we also have over here this 5 misfortune. So that is, kind of unfortunate. But we do have, even though there is some bathroom area here that's being eaten up by the creativity and the investments, at least we have just a little bit. That's a doorway that can actually activate that, which is great. And then, as I said before, there's a little corner over here. Well, actually, the entire northeast is considered the 9, if you will, but we have to also overlay that feng shui dial as well, which I'm going to show you in just a second, so you can see both dials, which I recommend you put on your space as well. And for those of you who are just tuning in, sorry about that, you can always go to freecompassdial.com to get our compass dials. Okay, so that's and I'm sure Alice has put them into the chat on Facebook as well and YouTube. Okay, all right, so this is where we have I'm gonna actually, let's see, can I pull it up over here just to get it out of my way? Okay, so we have this bedroom that I think is used as an office. So this one, we pointed out yesterday, there was just really a little swath, but now we can layer up the the 9 for the year, and this was the tiger direction. So we know that it has the sun energy there. So this person would be so smart to be using just this little corner. It go spend some time there, because this is where it can help build that visibility for you, start getting ready for period 9, which I highly recommend all of you start thinking about, and work on some of your long-term investments. Now, you may not have a lot of money where you can invest into properties or antiques, which is an asset or something like that, but you can invest in yourself. There's no reason in the world that you can't invest in yourself. And that might mean getting into a program that's going to help you make yourself a better person. So that is something that I want you to think about. And then think about IP. Think about your intellectual property. What do you have that you can leverage and monetize? That's something that I want you to think about. And then, basically these other areas, we went over what they were. I just wanted to point out some of the missing corners and sort of this whole bathroom area on how it affects both of these very positive energies as well. So, that's something that you need to be considering as well. All right, let's look at when we put both of these dials together. Again, if you're looking this on a phone versus your computer, it probably is not rendering too well. So hopefully you can either get to a computer to see this, because these two overlays where I put them together. So the numbers, which are kind of hard to see on the screen, are on the outer part of it, and then we have the green and the red that we talked about on the first day. So well, actually, the first part of the week, we talked about the positive and then the challenging, and then this is putting it all together. So again, what are the best areas that this person can be using to make life easier for them? Well, to me, it looks like this area right here, like I said before, in this particular it's named bedroom here, but I guess like I said, I do believe it's an office. Not only does it have the 9 for the year, which is about investments, your IP, intellectual property, and it also has the sun sign. This one is very good and it's usable. I mean, it's not big, but putting a chair there and using it is a really, really smart idea. Now, the bathroom, I don't really see that being too usable for this person. So unfortunately, we're going to have to sort of forget it. But yeah, they activate it every time they go in and out of the bathroom. Again, these energies are going to shift, and then sometimes it's going to be good or challenging. And then you have to start making decisions. Do I want to move to a different area if you have the luxury of moving into another room, even if it's a smaller room? Be smart about your life. If you're going to be choosing to be in challenging energies, then you're going to have to also accept that there are things that shift can happen. So if it gets activated accidentally, then the catastrophic results will happen. Now, in this particular area, we do have the south, and this actually goes into that garage area as well. So, going in and out of the garage, hopefully the garage is in order, and it's, but if it's not, that would be something I certainly, if this was my place, I would certainly go, how much, what is in that garage area that I could be using for, even that could even be, some sort of a work area, in certain times of the year. Now, I know this is a very strong 4-season location, so in the winter months, that's probably really out of the a potential use, but it is also, I don't know what is in that garage, but if it's kind of cluttered and messy and not even being used as a garage, I would spend some time there and try to get that cleaned up a little bit. This, we have we can't use it because it's not there, unless this is in a garden area. If it is, then, I would be looking at the Southwest 3. Again, watch the communications. We've got a double where this is double positive. This is kind of a double negative because it's got the year breaker and arguments there. But it is good for dissolving obstacles if you're in the Southwest 3, as well as if you need to reboot this might be an area. Rebooting sometimes is not comfortable. It does take some time, but it is letting go. And if you're willing to let go and reboot, this is the Southwest area can help you with that. And then, definitely it looks like they've got like a little island here. Hopefully they sit here to, eat some of their meals because they're right in that fortune virtue. So this is very good for that as well. Okay. Okay, let's see what we have next. Okay, I'm going to be going on. And so if you have any questions, please put them in the chat now because then I can answer them live while I'm with you right now. But this was a question that came in from Anje. And so this is their question. Thanks from Germany for all this amazing information. Prayer hands, Kathleen. I have a question. If you're working from home most times of the week and only 1/10 at the office co-working space, does it matter that your business address is at a different place? And is the floor plan of your house with your home office room the right plan then? That is an excellent question, and it's very timely because of the remote working situations that we are currently in. So with that, what we've got is kind of a, I'm going to explain the question first. So we have also what we call co-working. We also call it hot desking, which means that there's more than one person that will be using that desk than you. If I'm understanding your question properly, and please correct me if I'm not, but you still are only working 1/10 of the time at this remote area and 9/10, which is a majority, at a remote, potentially home office. So here's what I would do if I were you. So for those of you, let me even back up just a little bit. For those of you who do not have a co-working situation and you actually have an outside office and you own the office or you own the building, then this is where doing the feng shui of the other building, let's call it the professional building, is going to be important, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to manipulate the energy to benefit you. But if somebody else owns the building, you're really manipulating the building to serve them to a certain extent. Because if my name is on the lease at an office suite where I'm using the office and it is only my office, then yes, I would feng shui that office suite. I would do the macro first to find out what all of the energies are of a particular space, and then I would bring down that compass dial onto that one room and then set up my workspace to the things that I was just telling you about. Obviously, I would also put in the long-term feng shui to make sure that each and every layer that, when I can power up on any certain year, I'm going to do that. When I need to, move my furniture around, remember I have my office furniture on wheels because I'm constantly moving the energy, because I want to get into the best flow of any particular annual and long-term dial. Now, with that said, in a co-working space where a lot of people's energy are also using that same space, it's going to be actually probably difficult unless you have the okay with every other person there that you're going to put your desk in a certain way and all of that kind of thing. So my best suggestion would be properly do the feng shui for your home, because believe me, even when you have an outside office space and you own it, or you're just renting, you're leasing maybe just one suite within a building, your home feng shui will affect your business. So that's why your home is crucial to make sure that it is properly set up. But now we're talking about a co-working space where other people are using the space. One of the best things I would do, and this is just a sample chart that I pulled in, that I want you to um, look at the bottom right hand corner, and it's under where we see this destiny cycle, and it says personal power directions and feng shui application. This is where I would start looking at the of going into that office, and when I'm there, I am going to angle either the desk if I'm able to do it, but it might be a built-in, you won't be able to do anything about it. Hopefully you've got a swivel chair, but if not, you just pick up the chair and you move. And this is where laptops come in very, 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 very handy, because it's not a big desktop, but even still, most desktops are either on an arm or you can just shift the direction of that. And what do? This is where, again, your compass is going to come into play, and you put your, let's just say my hand right now is my computer screen, and I'm going to put the digital compass dial there, and I just need to, change it a couple of degrees to get into one of these positive areas. This is long term. This will never change. This will go with you whether you're traveling, and I do this a lot when I'm traveling, when I'm, sitting in a conference. I like to sit in my power direction. So it would be either prosperity, vitality, especially if it's like a 3-day conference. Holy moly, I really want to sit with, while I'm sitting there, I want to orient my body to be facing that direction, so I absorb the energy. My body is now the antenna. And then partnerships, networking events, this is great. You stand there and or try to get people to come to you, but you're standing in your power direction. You would be facing northwest. Yours is going to be different unless you're a number 2, which would be right here. And then for confidence, if you've got like a brain busting, piece of material, a proposal you need to write or something like that, put your body in that direction. So as you can see, when you're working in a remote place, you can actually start manipulating the energy to help you in that respect. So that's how I would be looking at this. Now, as I said um, yesterday, I believe another question kind of came up with this as well, is we do have to also abide by the annual influences. So this particular person probably should not face the Grand Duke, because that's where it's located in the northeast. And then if you have the southeast in this top row, I would avoid facing directly to the goat. And then this would be facing the ox, which would be northeast 1, and then the goat is southeast 1. But you can still face northeast, just not direct into that red square, that red triangle that we talked about, right? You just want to avoid that. Otherwise, you use this. This is one other piece that you can tap into. I would be doing this even if you had control over your space. Get into the northeast, into that really good area, and then face one of those positive directions if it's available. Sometimes it's not, because it might be difficult to and I use this when I'm on stage. When I am, making an offer and things like that, I put my body in a certain direction for me, so it benefits my best self, so that I can show up as my best self. It helps me attract prosperity. It helps me in networking events. It helps me for vitality, and it helps for when I'm working on complicated material, to absorb that material so I can become a better person. That's what these personal power directions are for, to help you become a better person. And then obviously avoid that bottom line, because the bottom line, where it has mishaps, disputes, betrayal, and adversity. So this would be, kind of step number 1 for you guys. Go ahead and find out what direction your desk is in your computer screen is in, and things like that. So those are, you know, and even like if you have a chair that you know, after you get off of work and you relax, what direction is it in? Does it make sense to shift it a little bit so you can get into a better direction? Obviously, we like to do these things on a good day and a good time, but you know, that's for another course. There's a lot obviously on these astrology charts. Again, that's not for what we're talking about for here today. Hopefully that answers your question. All right, so today we covered the person and or last week we covered person and we did space, and then we're going to get into the TimeBlazr. So let me um, first thing I want you to do is and this, we're going to be starting this tomorrow, which is on the 23rd of July. And so we're kicking it off on a very good day. And I'm going to actually go over to the TimeBlazr so you can see the software live. But I want you to go ahead and grab your free 30 days on me. I would love for you to try this out. And we've got a pretty good week for you to make some concerted effort towards um, to stimulate your business. So why are we starting it out on a remove day? That might not make a lot of sense to you. The reason why, but go to free30timetrial.com to get your time trial. I just tested it. It's working great. You just need to put in your information, and it's going to create a personalized calendar for you. And it's just an amazing piece of software. I'm just so proud of it. It is kind of my baby, if you will, and I am so delighted to share it with you. So this is about helping you create, you know, products, programs. Well, you create them, but it's launching them on a good day and time. And so it really is a very empowering piece of software that I just literally can't wait to share with you. So I'm actually going to pull it up right now. And the reason I'm pulling it up right now is I want you to prepare, because I realize not all of you are in my time zone, and I don't want you to miss anything. So what I'm going to be doing over the course of the next week, I'm going to be talking about the day ahead and how I want you to use it. So here's some of the things you need to do. One, you're going to need to create, if you haven't done already, which hopefully you have. I realize some of you, maybe this is the first day that you're here, that you're going to create a program, open up some coaching slots, discovery sessions. If you aren't sure what you're going to be, you know, doing, maybe, you know, doing a survey to your clientele, or you know, calling in some helpful people. But we are going to launch something next week. What does that mean? You need probably a landing page, you know, and you can do that quite easily now. Actually, tomorrow I'm going to give you a link to a program that I'm using that you might be interested in, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. And then the other thing is, you know, do you need an email sequence? So I really want you to use these times. I need you to block them out. That's why I want you to get the TimeBlazr now, so that you can start seeing how you're going to block out your week. And what I'm going to do for you is I am going to show you how I plan out my week and how you are going to do it right alongside with me. So like I said, this is an interactive program. This is not just sit and watch later. This is do it now. If you really care about your business and your livelihood and your lifestyle, you will be working along with me. And I'm going to try to make it as easy step by step as possible. Okay? All right. So actually, I don't want that one. How do I get... Maybe if, hold on, I just need a moment right here. Let me put it back here, and if I close that down, would that help? I don't know. I'm using a program called Ecamm, which I love, but there we are. Okay, so here is the TimeBlazr. And what you're going to do is, once you get your login information, you're going to go to the members only area. And when you're in the members only area, you're going to see this TimeBlazr. And what it's going to do, it's going to give you the calendar as a personalized system. I'm going to go through all of this tomorrow, but the reason I'm telling you this today, which is on the 22nd, maybe it's already the 23rd for some of you, we're going to be using a remove day. And now I'm going to go into the TimeBlazr. Tomorrow, and tomorrow only, we're going to come on at 9 a.m. But as you can see, without you really knowing how to use the system yet, you can see that this is a little bit darker green than the blocks above or below. So from 7 to 11:15 or 10:59 a.m., we've got a 4-hour block. Then we've got another one between 1 and 2:59 p.m. So we actually have 6 hours tomorrow to crush it, if you will. And that's what I want you to start thinking about, is how you can really get things done. Now, you can actually even be, if you're really gung-ho, you can start at midnight on the 23rd and even use this 3 a.m. slot. I'm going to be sleeping, but I get some of you are night owls and you'd rather use that time. But what you're going to be doing during this time is a couple of things. Number one, it's a remove day. Hold on, I'm going to slightly come back here. So number one is a remove day. And a remove day means that we're going to be, one, removing obstacles, if you will, and we're going to be getting rid of something that is holding us back. So this could be your office is messy. It could be you need to, oh my gosh, finally get out that proposal. You need to finish a funnel. You need to, what we're trying to do is we're trying to clear the decks. And when you make space by getting rid of, letting go, and this could also be a mental or emotional block that you have as well, then you are going to be able to make space for opportunities to come in. Now, if you've ever moved, and that's why every year when I move, the energy just feels so juicy to me. I just love it because it brings in new opportunities. So when it's done properly, right? So this is where it can really help you have great opportunities by moving things. But we have to be kind of also careful. And remember when I was saying before, you maybe want to move some things, in the south, in the northeast, um, and maybe even for cash flow in the west. So those are some of the areas that you can consider that I'm going to maybe just clean up. What I want you to do, we're going to be online for um, maybe an hour, hour and a half, because we are going to go pretty deep into the TimeBlazr. We're going to set up your next week, and we're going to specifically put in their task items that you're going to be doing. But for those of you who are out of my time zone, I don't want you to miss out on the good energy. That's why I want you to get your TimeBlazr today and you use your local time. Don't convert anything, just use your local time. So 7 to 8, 10:59 tomorrow morning on the 23rd, or maybe you're almost near that time, that's going to be the best time for you to block this out of your calendar and say, okay, this is where I want to um, take on one task that I can complete in that time. Because if you start going, oh, I'm going to clean up my whole office or my whole house or whatever, well, it depends on how big your house is. But my point is that you are, I don't want you to walk away going, oh my gosh, now here's a disaster that I have to clean up and I didn't really even get that far. So only you know how much you are able to take on. This could also be digitally. You could clean up emails that have been sitting there that have gone unanswered. You can clean up your photos. Maybe it's the cloud. I mentioned this before, where people like just keep buying more and more and more storage, but they've got files from like I don't know, their whole life there, but they never look at them. So this is something that I can highly recommend, that this is a really good use of a remove day. Another good thing that you could do if you would like to is start a cleanse. This is a good day for those of you. I'm actually opposite. A lot of people put on a lot of weight. I actually lost a lot of weight during COVID because everybody handles stress a little bit different. And by the way, just because I do what I do does not make it any the way I handle it is different. But it I would say, you know, anyone that says that they're not being stressed out by current events, um, I think that maybe their heart is a little like a stone. Like, you might be doing well financially, but look at people around you. There's a lot of suffering happening there. I mean, when I saw on the news these last few days what's happening in Europe, with the floods and the wars that are going on and the fires that are taking over the west coast of the United States, earthquakes. I mean, you know, and then, you know, health issues around the world. How could you not be affected by that? You know, sure, one part of your life might be going well, but is every single thing in your life? When we look at spirituality, relationships, money, your career, your family, your health, are all of those 100%? Well, you know, good for you if they are, but there, that would be, I would think, a very, very, very minute, you know, number of people. So anyway, back to what I was trying to say. This might be a good time to take care of your health in the respect. Um, do a day-long cleanse. Or start a serious program where you are going to really start shedding the pounds that you need to shed. Now, it's not necessarily good for starting an exercise program because we're removing things that we know we shouldn't be eating. Certain things like sugar, and you know, maybe you're eating too much carbs, or whatever. You know what your triggers are. I don't. So nonetheless, for even the rest of us, what I would suggest that you do is have a healthy meal planned. Do it today, so tomorrow you don't have to think and scramble about, you know, eating healthy throughout the day tomorrow, because the day is going to be influenced by this remove energy throughout the day. All right. So, and especially if you have a tiger in your chart, without getting too much into, you know, the intricacies, but if you have a tiger in your chart, especially in that day, this is going to help you much more. So just take a breath. I know this is a lot of information, but what we're going to be doing tomorrow between 9 and, I'm going to say, I'm going to be on for as long as necessary. I have no idea how long that's going to be, but you can start as early as 7 o'clock. And why don't you get some buddies, friends, associates to hop in for at least this day only? I tell you what, they will thank you 10 times over, for helping them on this particular energetics. And then, like I said, we're going to be looking at the entire week next week. So what I will be doing also, I will be talking about the I'll be talking about what will be happening over the weekend. So we have one day that is not so great, and then I'm going to be talking about the 25th, and I'm even going to be talking about the 26th. Well, I'm going to be talking about the whole week because the Fridays are my week planning day, so I'm going to show you how I do that. But I really want you to be launching something. Um, if nothing else, you're going to be putting things um, on email that you're going to be sending out, like you're starting a program or things like that, on one of these auspicious days. Now, your stars and your icons are going to look different than what you're seeing on this screen. Why? Because it's personalized, and I will tell you about that personalization tomorrow. Okay. All right. That's all I'm going to really tell you about the TimeBlazr, because you know, this is really, again, more about the TimeBlazr excuse me, it was more about the feng shui and the flying star today. So that's, you know, really what I wanted to express to you. So, but I do want you to make sure that you get that free trial at free30timetrial.com. Let's see if we have any comments to talk about today. Nope, I don't see any comments here in this feed that I'm looking at right now. So we'll look at those tomorrow, I guess, when they're coming in. And the way that you get your questions answered is by putting them into YouTube or Facebook. So that is how we'll get those questions answered. So please let me know, first and foremost, did you get value out of today's training? Put a yes, and what was the piece that you liked the most? And again, I want you to put into the chat what you are going to do to stimulate your business. And if you have no idea, just say I have no idea. But just let me know that you are actually participating fully, and that's the best way that you're going to get support, is if you actually reach out and we can help you with that. Okay. And then we will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. And so again, if you could please share, comment, and like, and then make sure you go to bit.ly, that's lowercase bit.ly/stimulate your business. And we will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. So I will send you off for now. I thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Thank you for being part of my community. It means so much to me and my assistant Alice. We put so much into these programs for you, and we truly hope that the end of next week you will get stimulus into your business like we had planned. Okay, see you soon. Love you guys.